Referees play an indispensable role in sports, ensuring that rules are followed and fairness is maintained. However, even the most experienced officials have made blunders that have had far-reaching consequences. From missed calls to unjust penalties, these mistakes often live on in infamy. Let's dive deeper into the 8 worst referee mistakes of all time, exploring the context and impact of each incident in more detail. Number 8. Thierry Henry's Handball vs. Ireland, 2009, football. In one of the most controversial incidents in football history, Thierry Henry's handball during the 2009 World Cup qualifier between France and Ireland remains a painful memory for Irish fans. In the second leg of the playoff, with the game tied on aggregate and heading into extra time, France desperately needed a goal to avoid a penalty shootout. In the 103rd minute, a long free kick from Florent Malouda landed deep in Ireland's penalty area. As the ball awkwardly bounced in the box, Henry stretched out his arm to control it, keeping it in play before passing to William Gallas, who headed the ball into the net. Despite loud protests from the Irish players, Swedish referee Martin Hansson allowed the goal to stand. The result: France won 2-1 on aggregate and secured a spot in the 2010 World Cup, while Ireland was eliminated in heart-wrenching fashion. The incident led to widespread criticism of FIFA's decision not to implement video technology at the time. In the aftermath, even Henry himself admitted that a replay of the match would have been the fairest solution. This handball further intensified the debate surrounding the introduction of VAR, Video Assistant Referee, which was eventually implemented in 2018. Number 7. 1972 Olympic Basketball Final, USA vs. USSR. The 1972 Olympic men's basketball final between the USA and the USSR is one of the most contentious events in Olympic history. The game, played in Munich, was set to crown either the Americans or the Soviets as Olympic champions. The USA entered the game as heavy favorites, having never lost an Olympic basketball game since the sport was introduced in 1936. With only 3 seconds left on the clock, the USA led 50-49, and it appeared they had secured yet another gold medal. However, confusion ensued as the Soviet team attempted a desperate inbounds play. The referees controversially intervened and reset the clock multiple times, giving the Soviets several additional attempts to score. On their third and final attempt, Alexander Belov caught a long pass and scored the game-winning basket, securing a 51-50 victory for the USSR. The USA team protested vehemently, but their complaints were overruled by Olympic officials. To this day, the American players have refused to accept their silver medals, feeling that they were unjustly robbed of gold. The 1972 Olympic basketball final remains a symbol of Cold War tensions and is widely regarded as one of the most controversial officiating decisions in sports history. Number 6. Diego Maradona's Hand of God goal, 1986, football. Diego Maradona's infamous Hand of God goal in the 1986 World Cup quarterfinal between Argentina and England remains one of football's most notorious incidents. In the 51st minute, with the score still 0-0, Maradona jumped to challenge England goalkeeper Peter Shilton for a high ball. Instead of heading the ball, Maradona used his left hand to punch it into the net. Tunisian referee Ali bin Nasser and his assistants failed to spot the handball, and the goal was allowed to stand, much to the disbelief and anger of the English players. Maradona cheekily referred to the goal as the Hand of God in a post-match interview, a phrase that has since become legendary. The incident overshadowed Maradona's second goal in the match, a breathtaking solo run from his own half that has been dubbed the goal of the century. Argentina won the match 2-1 and eventually went on to win the World Cup. The Hand of God incident, however, remains one of the most blatant refereeing errors in World Cup history and serves as a reminder of the need for more accurate officiating in crucial matches. The introduction of VAR decades later was partly aimed at preventing similar injustices. Number 5. Frank Lampards' disallowed goal versus Germany, 2010, football. Another controversial moment in World Cup history came during the 2010 World Cup in South Africa. In the round of 16, England faced off against longtime rivals Germany. With Germany leading 2-1, England's Frank Lampard struck a long-range shot that hit the crossbar and clearly bounced over the goal line. However, neither the referee nor the assistant referee saw the ball cross the line, and the goal was not awarded. Had the goal stood, the score would have been 2-2, potentially changing the momentum of the match. Instead, Germany capitalized on England's frustration and went on to win 4-1. The incident highlighted the need for goal line technology, which was finally introduced at the 2012 FIFA Club World Cup and became a permanent fixture in subsequent tournaments. This refereeing error is often cited as a pivotal moment in the push for technology to assist referees in making accurate decisions during crucial moments of a match. Number 4. The Phantom Punch, Muhammad Ali vs. Sonny Liston, 1965. Boxing. The rematch between Muhammad Ali and Sonny Liston for the heavyweight championship in 1965 ended in controversy that has fueled conspiracy theories for decades. In the first round, Ali appeared to land a quick punch, but it was so fast that many spectators, and even the referees, didn't see it clearly. The punch, later dubbed the Phantom Punch, sent Liston to the canvas. Referee Jersey Joe Walcott, a former heavyweight champion himself, seemed uncertain about what had happened. He delayed the count, causing confusion, and by the time he resumed the count, Liston had stayed down for over 10 seconds. Ali was declared the winner, but questions about whether Liston had thrown the fight or whether the punch had really been powerful enough to knock him out have persisted. The fight remains one of the most controversial moments in boxing history, and the Phantom Punch has become part of Ali's legend, as well as a source of ongoing debate among boxing fans. Number 3. Jeffrey Meyers' interference in ALCS game, 1996. Baseball. During Game 1 of the 1996 American League Championship Series between the New York Yankees and the Baltimore Orioles, a young fan named Jeffrey Meyers altered the course of the game, and possibly the entire series. In the bottom of the 8th inning, with the Yankees trailing by 1 run, Derek Jeter hit a deep fly ball toward right field. As Orioles outfielder Tony Tarasco positioned himself to catch the ball, Meyers reached over the wall and caught it, preventing Tarasco from making the play. Despite protests from the Orioles, umpire Richie Garcia ruled the play a home run, tying the game. The Yankees went on to win the game in extra innings and eventually took the series, advancing to the World Series, which they won. Meyers' interference became a legendary moment in baseball history, sparking debates about fan involvement and the need for clearer replay rules. The incident remains one of the most controversial umpiring decisions in postseason baseball history. Number 2. Goal line controversy in the 1966 World Cup Final, football. In the 1966 World Cup Final, England faced West Germany in front of a packed Wembley Stadium. With the match tied 2-2 in extra time, England's Geoff Hurst fired a shot that hit the underside of the crossbar and bounced down near the goal line. The West German players protested, arguing that the ball had not crossed the line, but after consulting with the linesman, referee Gottfried Dienst awarded the goal to England. England went on to win 4-2, and the goal became one of the most famous and debated moments in football history. The controversy surrounding the goal has persisted for decades, with numerous replays and studies attempting to determine whether the ball fully crossed the line. While the goal stood and England won their first and only World Cup, the incident added fuel to calls for goal line technology, which was eventually introduced many years later. Number 1. Roy Jones Jr. robbed of Olympic gold, 1988. Boxing. Roy Jones Jr. is widely regarded as one of the greatest boxers of all time, but his Olympic experience in 1988 was marred by one of the worst judging scandals in boxing history. In the light middleweight final at the Seoul Olympics, Jones dominated his opponent, South Korean fighter Park Sae-hun. Jones landed 86 punches to Park's 32, and was clearly the superior fighter throughout the bout. However, in a shocking decision, the judges awarded the gold medal to Park, despite the overwhelming evidence that Jones had won the fight. The decision was so controversial that even Park apologized to Jones afterward, acknowledging that he did not deserve the victory. It later emerged that 3 of the 5 judges had been bribed, though the decision was never overturned. Jones went on to have a stellar professional career, but the 1988 Olympic scandal remains a black mark on the sport of boxing.